All right. So did you want me to introduce the game?
Yes.
Okay. So Rust and Moss is a Metroidvania with very intricate movement that's mostly based around the grapple mechanic. And in Ending D, the goal is to resurrect the Fairy Queen by first collecting all 8 of her pieces and then making it to the end of the game.
Very good. I'm looking forward to seeing it. May I begin to count you in?
Okay, so let me count down the time. 3, 2, 1, go.
We start in the Mossy Hills, and we don't have any fancy movement abilities yet. The first section, we basically just walk to the first boss, Bonnie, which is where we get the grapple. This is actually a detour of about 5 seconds. We do this to get a sort of item called the HP Overload, which it gives a DPS bonus at maximum health. So it's more than worth it. We need to get to a save point to equip it. We do that here. This is the first boss. DPS is maximized here by using the regular attack continuously rather than the charge attack. But as you can see, Wuseagal is using the charge attack at the beginning of each stage. So now we have the grapple, and it's elastic, so we can use it to get extra speed like we did there. To the left is a sort of tutorial to teach us how to use it, but we already know how to use it, so we do that instead. Once you have speed, you can keep it as long as you keep hopping, like that. Now we're going to a sort of developer-intended shortcut to the refinery, which is a much harder area, where we'll get the next important movement upgrade. Now this is kind of slow to do damageless, so instead we tank hits from that stuff, the eye core, and then just use the iframes to walk through it. So we want to manage our hit points and MP so that we can make the best use of HP overload. As you might have seen, you can touch the eye core for a moment without taking damage, which we used to our advantage in this skip here. Normally you'd have to loop all the way around, which would be slow. Now we have the shotgun, which gives a boost with its recoil, which lets us build up a lot of speed. You can fire it twice before reloading, but only the first burst has recoil, which is why he's only using one at a time. This is the pipe. It's a short hub area. There's not much here except a warp out of here, and we just want to go to the other end as quickly as we can. Now we're onto the lake, which is all about movement. We're going to pick up the rocket launcher here. There's this nice trick over here where we can continuously hop through all of this section. It's really satisfying if you can pull it off, but it's pretty difficult. You can't kill this thing, so you need to just run away from it, basically. Those things grab onto you until you shoot them, and so it's kind of hard to get through there quickly. It's easy to get stuck. So now we have the rocket launcher, which is a very powerful movement option. And you can see with both of those guns how quickly we can, like, keep speed. So the warp takes us here, which is the factory roof. And this is where it diverges from any percent, or well, ending E, which is what I run. We need to talk to the seer, who's off to the right, for some more upgrades, but we need one of the Fairy Queen pieces first. So we go back here to fight the second boss, Amelie the Witch. Because we now have several different guns, we can quick swap between them to dramatically increase DPS. If you try talking to the seer without collecting any pieces, you just die for some reason. I don't know why it's like that, but it is. That upgrade increases the maximum amount of trinkets we can use at once. But this is the seer. She gives us both the ability to fast travel between warp points and a charge jump ability that works on mossy ground. So we walk back to the beginning of the factory roof, and then climb to the top of the factory roof to go fight Maya, the third boss. So, at the end of that fight, we don't get to beat her, but instead we get banished to the Snowy Outpost. This is a linear area that we just want to get out of as quickly as we can. we get the grenades, which can break those block things. They cost MP to use, but they can be used for even more DPS along with the quick swapping trick. Should be out of here pretty soon. So we come out in the Smokestack Forest, which is located above the Mossy Hills. There was another trinket there, but we don't need that one, just kind of in the way. Okay, so while most of the pieces are obtained from bosses directly, the last piece, the Queen's Head, has a special quest line behind it, which involves fighting 3 different bosses, including an upcoming one, which is War. Who is about, like, part way up the Smokestack Forest in this side area here. So this is War. It has 3 rotating shields, but the rocket launcher and grenades can bypass it. We're not just here to get the last piece, we're also here to pick up this, the sniper, which is... In Ending D, we use a downpatched version of the game, because the sniper is glitched and lets us do all sorts of crazy sequence breaks. You see those one-way gates? You can trigger the target from the other side, so you can just kind of get through without going around. So we'll come back there later, but for now we're going to the mountainside. Now we're doing a climbing challenge. There are 5 of these in the game. Most of them just give you trinkets beating them. But this one has a fair amount of stuff locked behind it. That was really smooth there. We're out of the challenge now, and can keep going to the upper part of the mountainside.
Does this mean we might have a chance for me to talk about the event a little bit?
Oh, why not?
Excellent. So, when you make a donation, and I hope you do, don't forget to assign it to an incentive or bid war. We have an ongoing bid war between the Japanese and English versions of the Mega Man X7 dialogue. The Japanese is in a decent lead, but we would like to lock that down because it is the more efficient option. And we here at Fastest Furs appreciate speed. I'm sure if you're tuning in, you do as well. So get your donations in, support that bid war, and support the upcoming bonus game, which we absolutely need to get met. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is Pestilence. The head takes the most damage, but all of the segments take some damage. It's possible to use the sniper to hit several segments at once. We take damage in order to basically take control during the death animation. That happens several times during the run. And we also picked up the Guardian Fey, which is a powerful defensive trinket, which will be useful later. Now we're going to the quarters. We use this... There's this skip to get into it. Usually it's pretty difficult to get enough distance to get all the way over there, but it can be done. Otherwise, we'd need to go into it from below, which takes ages, so we do this instead.
Real quick, huge shout out to Vix Witch, a very large raiding party. Glad to have the raiders here. Y'all are watching Fastest Furs, currently running Rusted Moss, an indie Metroidvania with incredible movement.
Here, you see we can have so much knockback that they just fly away and despawn. It's great. This is the second fight against Maya. We used that Guardian Fey that we picked up to block some of the attacks. If you go too high, she'll upwards jump move like that. And we can use that to our advantage. We can also grapple her directly in order to manipulate her position. We now have 2 pieces out of 8. Up here is the bolt dispenser, which is kind of situational. Now we've gone into the barrow where we fight Famine. In the first phase, it goes constantly around counterclockwise. As you can see, the runner just sits in the top left during this first phase. In the second phase, it stops circling and just runs directly at you. So we use the Guardian Fey to block damage. And just stand there and attack continuously. It guards the Incendiary Essence, a trinket which is a straight-up DPS bonus. Much better than the HP Overload, which we've been relying on until now. So we're now entering the lake again, this time from below. We went to the early parts of the lake briefly before, but now we're re-entering from the wrong direction in order to fight the boss, the Void Worm. Similarly to Pestilence, we can use the sniper to hit several segments at once sometimes. Three pieces out of 8. The next part of the run, we'll be running around the map, mopping up just bosses.
So while you're making your way to the next boss, may I cut in a little bit?
Oh, sounds good.
Cool, appreciate it. So, Fastest First Fall Fest 2023 is raising money all weekend long for Trans Lifeline. In addition to their peer support hotline, Trans Lifeline also directly supports trans individuals in need of their microgrant through their microgrant program. The program provides direct financial assistance to those who need to correct name or gender markers on identifying legal documents, to receive gender-affirming hair removal treatment, or to receive basic necessities during and after incarceration. For more information, please visit translifeline.org/microgrants. Because your contributions are directly helping the people in the most dire of need, both directly through the suicide hotline, which is extremely important, and the money is going directly to those most desperate. Very, very important, very helpful, and we are very much looking forward to your donations.
Good stuff. Anyway, we've gone back to the beginning of the lake, and then used the sniper glitch to get into the bottom of Mountainside, where we're now fighting the boss, Freya. She takes damage when you attack the heart things. Four pieces out of 8. We've beaten those 3 bosses for that quest line I mentioned earlier. So now we're going to a semi-hidden room all the way back in the Mossy Hills. They call this the Tea Party.
That was delightful. Was that a required part of the run?
Yes. We've returned to the smokestack forest. We've used the sniper glitch again. And now we're climbing all the way up to the top this time. This is Alicia, who is probably one of my favorites. There are 3 phases. She teleports to the lower right, in between the first and second. It's not too complicated in terms of dealing damage, but just need to be sure they're not in the way when she teleports. 5 pieces out of 8. So we can drop directly down from there back to the refinery, and then use the sniper glitch again to, again, access the boss early. Now, Lenore is a weird one. You need to turn on the lights to make her vulnerable. And then once the lights are on, you need to do enough damage to go on to the next phase before the lights go back off. And Wuseagal is making this look easy. I really struggle to beat Lenore in the minimum number of cycles. This is tough. She just bounces everywhere, it's really annoying. You can take damage from the Ichor during the kill animation to regain control sooner. Now we have 6 pieces out of 8. Now we're in the lab. This is probably the hardest area in the game. It's vaguely horror themed. Unlike the other areas, we can't completely destroy it with the sniper glitch. We need to go through parts of it as intended.
I'm really loving all the character designs for this game, especially those of the witches that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
simplicity of the art style really makes, the unique touches on each one really stand out.
I like the contrast of the main character is a fairy with a gun, whereas the enemies are humans with magic. It's really interesting. To get to the boss, we need to unlock these 3 big barriers with those really huge targets. I think we saw one of them a little while ago. And this room doesn't have one. We're instead here to collect a trinket. This is the Fey of Love, which is another very powerful defensive tool.
Makes up for the detour of having to go collect it, I imagine.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of trinkets like that throughout the run.
Yeah. I imagine a lot of them would be useful casually, but we only really get a few of them. And at any percent, we only get one. I call it any percent, but really this is still any percent ending D.
Yeah. So would a true any percent run be more dangerous and less marathon friendly?
Yes, it is quite dangerous.
Ah.
First few minutes are the same, and then we just run directly to the end through all sorts of crazy stuff.
I do love to see those sorts of runs, but yeah, marathon unsafe they can certainly be. All the more reason I assume to go follow Wuseagal.
Yep.
Check out more runs like this.
This is Spirella. Now the Fey of Love, which gives you the orbiting ally thing. She has a spiderweb attack, which can be cancelled by this. She takes damage when the crawling robots take damage. Like with several of the other bosses, it's possible to hit multiple crawling robots at once with the sniper. She has 3 phases. It's possible to get her stuck in place so that she'll leave you alone. I'm not sure if the runner's going to do that this time. Seems to be on top of things. Now we're up to 7 pieces. That's all the bosses we need. Now we just need to collect the Queen's Head, which is located in a room in quarters. After beating the boss, this thing takes over the lab, which makes getting around it really annoying afterwards. So we get out of there pretty quick.
It's intensely horrifying. A tapeworm seems to have infested the lab. Also noticed a sort of change in the theming of the music at that point, which was really cool and really creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm really into the whole vibe of this game. Did that tea party just go awry? Or...
I think so, yeah.
They help us collect the head, yeah.
And we now have all the pieces we need. So we're teleporting back to the barrow. And heading to the final area. We're getting into the end game now. This is Elfame. It has 0 gravity, and it's generally really hard, but not so much now because the sniper glitch lets us skip a lot of stuff. Reconfiguring our trinkets there. Now the seer is back, and she has betrayed us and is angry. This is a 5-phase fight. It's very intimidating. Here we're able to use the Guardian Fae to make it a lot easier. There's an element of RNG here in terms of what attacks she chooses. You just need to adapt to whatever she does. The one with the gears where she teleports on top of you is just nasty. This is the 3rd phase now. I believe this is Alicia's... No, it's Freya's arena from earlier. And we're already nearly finished. This stage isn't random, which is a relief. In most categories, that's the end of the run, but for now, we have to move on to the true final section. This is Robin. It doesn't want the Fairy Queen to be restored. Apparently, the friendly little ball thing that's been following us the entire game, it turns out it was human the whole time. It's also the beloved child, and now it wants us dead. We have one last chance to swap trinkets, and we choose the defensive ones because the final boss, Robin or Puck, is basically an auto-scroller. The Fae of Love can cancel lots of the attacks, so it makes it not so hard.
Not so hard is not what I would describe it visually. You've been deprived of a floor, bullets coming everywhere at all times. We've gone full Toho from the looks thing.
Kind of, yeah. But yeah, the rotating pixie thing can now cancel attacks. Believe me, you don't want to be doing this without that.
Yeah, bullet-absorbing orbital is the thing I've seen in other shmups. Really a strong inspiration here. Who's that taking pot shots at us now?
This is Maya again.
Ah,
Who is actually the main character's adopted sister, actually.
another betrayal.
Yep.
Can't catch a break.
And that's time, I think.
Oh, wow.
Thank-
Well, while we're rolling credits, shout-outs, plugs, anything you can do real quick? Tell us about yourselves.
Okay, thanks for having me to the Fated First Fall Fest 2023. And also a big fan to Aurora for assisting me as a commentator. Thank you everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you very
absolutely. You
much.
did a fantastic job. Excellent job with commentary.
That was an impressive run. It's like a 32 is really good.
Oh yeah, amazing. 10 minutes under estimate.
I'll be waiting in the dark where the sky is blind and then
Any plugs yourself, Aurora Dash?
to do
Not really.
what see.
But thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
So don't you turn
Very glad to have had you.
your back on me. I'll be laughing as we play. We'll be born again one day, and once we're through, I promise you.
Okay. The